everybody, my name is Callie and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. Now, this is the first video I'm uploading in a while, and I figured I owed a bit of an explanation for those of you who weren't aware. My hard drive committed not alive. It died. And I haven't had the chance to even see if I'm able to recover the stuff on that drive. So I've literally had nothing to post for a couple weeks now. Plus, not only that, but my hard drive died in the middle of me being horrifically sick. And by horrifically sick, I mean getting my ass kicked by the common cold. Which I'm still recovering from. You could probably hear it in my voice. Every time I talk, my throat gets irritated and makes me want to have the world's ugliest coughing fit. I, some of you may not know, am a music education major, which means I'm gonna be a lifelong band kid. And I figured today's video would be a great way to introduce y'all to how I got introduced to being a band kid. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done an intro. I'm a bit rusty. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and while you're down there, hit that like button and leave a comment and tell me, were you a band kid? If you were, what instrument did you play? Do you have any cringy stories of your own? I'd love to hear them. I started playing the flute in the 5th grade. But before I could start playing the flute, I had to go and try every instrument to see which one fit the best. Now bear in mind, my mom was a flute player, so the decision was already basically made up for me in my own mind. Because I was like, why would I play literally anything other than flute? It's what I've always wanted to do, and it's what my mom did. So it's really the only logical, you know, next step. And so, you know, we went in to do like the whole instrument trying thing, and he brought in like not only like actual instruments, but he also brought in like, he being my band director at the time, by the way. He also brought in like mouthpieces and all that jazz, just to see. And for percussion, he didn't actually have us, you know, play any percussion instruments, which, I mean, fair enough. You really don't want to trust a bunch of 5th graders who haven't had much experience with percussion. Instead, he had us do this weird like hand thing to try and show our hand independence skills. I was terrible at it, so it was obvious I wasn't gonna be a percussionist. But I was pretty okay with all of the brass stuff. I couldn't make a noise out of the reeded instruments like clarinet, saxophone. Didn't happen. I was best at the tuba, like the tuba mouthpiece that he handed over. Like, I could play. He like had a sheet where he like circled which ones he thought we should play, and he like circled tuba, and I was like, no bestie. And then we got to the flute, and he handed over the little flute head joint, and he was like, you gotta make a noise. It's like a sound like a train whistle. And I was like, great, I can do that. I can do that. I mean, like, I'm basically naturally born. I'm like made for this, and I went to do it, and I couldn't make a noise. I couldn't even get like a hint of that whistly train whistle tone. So, you know, it's kind of a funny, silly little goofy thing, and I was like, oh, that's gonna really think I'm gonna let that stop me? You are absolutely incorrect, sir. And I chose the flute. And before we actually got to start doing anything band, we had to have like these summer lesson things where we would go in with another person. I happened to be paired with another flutist with my same exact name. So that was a fun time in band, as you can imagine. He'd say our name and we'd both be like, huh? What? Us? Which one? Band started. And there isn't much to say about, you know, my beginning band journey. I was terrible at the flute for a very long time. But then again, I got started with my whole regimen of not practicing ever. Very young, at a very young age. I was quite talented. I remember the first note I learned was like B or A flat. B flat or A flat, I can't remember. That was sick, guys. Okay, that was cool. I'm so cool. Give me that arrow, bro. Thank you. Tasty, tasty arrow. God, we're both so talented at this. We're both so good at this game, aren't we, Greg? Anyway, I was terrible at it. Could barely play the fucking instrument. You know how it is. Oh, GG's. Greg, we can't keep meeting like this. But beginning band really wasn't all that exciting, and there wasn't much to note. We had like, my school did this thing where it had like little pull-out lessons where like you could leave class to go to your lesson which was, I mean, would have worked in theory. However, my lesson teacher at the time, who was only there for, who we only had for a year, mind you, he would sit there. I don't know what that means, Greg. Not gonna lie, you're a confusing individual. But this man would sit on his phone the entire time, the entire lesson, right? Which, I mean, really didn't do much for my education. But first concert comes around, we did great. We did this cute little piece where we got to play with pencils. We got to like bang pencils on those stands, which I mean, which is absolute just revolutionary for 5th graders, let me tell you. We had a blast playing that. And then the other piece that I remember we played was like this pared down version of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. You know, da 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 da. That, yeah, we did that. Which honestly, iconic of us. I had a great time. I remember just feeling so fucking ecstatic. I was on a high after that concert, let me tell you. My practice hours only went down the longer I went on because eventually, you know, I did get a new lesson teacher, but this man, dare I say, was worse than the man who fucking ignored us during lessons. Like, he was just strange, just not your average man. I don't know how to best explain how odd this human being was. But you know, moving on into junior high, which I consider to be 7th and 8th grade for me, and we moved into the high school building. Our high school building was 7 through 12, and we had a junior high band, of course, and then it was junior high, and then 9th through 12th was how the bands were split up, essentially. And in this junior high, we had the same director. So the brass lesson teacher did the 5th and 6th grade band, and he also did the junior high band, which is 7th and 8th. And he was also quite the character, who I didn't mind all that much. He was definitely a very sprightly man, very oddly enthusiastic sometimes. I mean, we got along well enough. He definitely had mixed feelings about me because I didn't go to my lessons because I hated my lesson teacher. Like, why would I go and endure the insanity of our best friend, crazy man, who, in his office, mind you, bestie, please use your axe. Thank you. Thank you. And an intelligent decision. I'm gonna stay away from you because you have to use swords. And I'm not gonna deal with that. In this man's my lesson teacher's office, okay? He had the high school band director's office, which had a nice window into the high school band room. In his office, he never had the lights on, right? Because every room obviously had overhead lights. He never had those lights turned on. Oh, and I like your skin, dude. You're probably kind of sweaty though. You like have cool skin, you have a cool name. I think I'm fucked. But he never had the overhead lights on. Instead, he had this little lamp in the corner of the room, like one of those like half circle pointed upwards lamp. I don't know, I actually don't know what they're called. I'm gonna be honest. All I know is that he had one and it was always on. And he, instead of having like a regular, oh, you're lagging. I'm so sorry. Lag. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I couldn't even type it in time. I feel bad. And instead of like an actual chair, he had this big like lazy boy armchair type deal going on. Which he would sit in, like reclined fully back, like very comfortable. I'm sure he had a great time hanging out. Are you related to Ronbu, sir? But you know, it didn't really help with it. He also had Ghostbusters movie posters in every language of imaginable on the window. Instead of like actually looking out into the band room, he just covered it with Ghostbusters posters, which, I mean, go off, I guess. Whatever makes you happy. And I just remember, if you wanted to know what our lessons were like, I remember this one lesson in particular really sticks out to me as a really true telling of his character and who he was as a person. we had these little lesson books, right, where they had like certain numbers of exercises for you to like practice and do. And he was like, prepare like this page for the lesson next week. And I was like, great. And one of the songs he wanted me to prepare happened to be a little excerpt of the Can. You know, the da 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 da, where you do all like the kicks and stuff. Yeah, that one. So he wanted me to play that. And I got in there and he's like, okay, can you play number whatever, which is the Can one? And I was like, sure, no problem. And I played it, and he was like, and he just stopped, and he goes, have you ever heard this song before? And I'm like, yeah, like not the full version, but I've heard it. And he's like, we should listen to it so you can like hear and really understand what you're listening to, and what you're playing. And I was like, okay. And so he goes over to his little computer in the corner, and he brings up a recording of the Can. And the Can's not like a short song, mind you. It like has all sorts of different sections other than the iconic like kick line part that you probably know. And he starts playing it, and I'm just like sitting there, a flute in my lap, and he's like sitting, in this moment, he is sitting forward in his little lazy boy chair. Like absolutely having the time of his life, doing little conductor fingers to the song. Like an absolute vibe. Band director's dream right here. And I'm just sitting there, like staring at my knee, staring at the flute in my lap, wondering if we're gonna play any of the other excerpts on the page that I had actually worked on for once in my life. We didn't, of course, because that would be ridiculous. Why would we? Why would we do the stuff he said we were going to in my lesson? That would be just outrageous. So yeah, if you ever like were curious as to the character of this lovely man, that's a pretty good summary of how a lot of lessons with him went. Speed swiper. Are you gonna like absolutely destroy me in 3 seconds? Is that what's gonna happen right now? Are you gonna speed swipe this round away from me? Good fight. Aw, bless you. People who put good fight honestly make my heart happy. And we got into 8th grade, right? And 8th grade meant that I was like one of the cool kids of band now, of the, you know, lower classmen of the junior high band. We got to do a couple of different like longer pieces, which is cool because we normally did like short 1-page pieces. I remember this was the year I did my first ever like actual like 2-page piece. And there's also a song that we did that had a solo in it. Oh boy. Solo plus flute section. I'm sure you can see where this went. I honestly really did not want to try out for it. But our band director was like, no, you have to, because you are an 8th grader. And I was one of the only 8th graders in the band at that time, in the flute section at that time. So he was just like, no, you're gonna do it. You don't have a choice. And of course I played it or whatever, and for some god-awful reason I was chosen. Please keep in mind that I didn't have my character development in flute playing until high school. Like I was just barely average at this moment. You're pretty good, dude. You're pretty good, pretty decent. Oh, your ex, sir. Sir, your ex. I was average. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing to write home about. My parents constantly yelled at me to practice more. At least 15 minutes a day can make such a huge difference, and I'm sure it would have. However, I didn't give a shit. I was already falling out of love with band because of a certain aforementioned lesson teacher. Who everyone just loves. Yeah, you know I'm low. You bitch, you hoe. No, I'm kidding. Don't move. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll just chill here. It's okay. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. We gotta play red like. Okay, hold on. Oops, hold on. Let me just yeah, hold on. Yeah. Let's do this. Do I win? Am I safe? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Kill me. Oh my gosh, really? Okay. Oh my god. Please, that's so good. That's so funny. What a man. I love this person. What a absolute legend. I was in 8th grade, right? And I got to play the solo thing, which definitely earned me the, have I fought you before? I don't remember. Hello, sir. I like your skin. GG. It's not even over yet. It's not even over yet. We've just begun. Please don't say GG already, sir. Like, I got this solo, which earned me the stink eye from one of the other flutists, which I mean, I don't know. I think it's just part of the whole thing. Like, where there are so many flutes, there's so much more competition than if you're like an oboe or a tuba or literally any other instrument than flute. There's just so many of us. Everybody wants to play the fucking flute. For God knows why. And that's really that competition. It's just like how a trumpet's ego is just within them from birth. Like you can always tell who's a trumpet player. You know. And if you say you're a trumpet without an ego, that's a lie. But anyway, I was in the 8th grade, and I really didn't give a shit about anything. I practiced just enough so no, I wouldn't fuck up the solo during the concert because I had a fear of failure. Why do I say like it's past tense? That's still a current issue. I just wasn't really in love with it, and I was talking a lot about quitting. I was like, my brother was in the high school band, and he had the lesson teacher, and the things they did to this poor man during band were horrible, but also absolutely hilarious. Like, he said a lot of stupid things, okay? This man, they had a what they called a drinking game, in which every time he said something stupid during class, all of them would, in unison, take a drink of water from their water bottles. So, like, this band was very well hydrated. I was thinking of quitting band, right? And it was because when I went to high school, my lesson teacher would be my band director now. And not only that, but I was absolutely terrified of doing marching band. It looked horrifically complicated, and I was dumb. I am dumb. Which really, you don't want to be dumb and try to do something that's difficult. That's not gonna end well for you. And I was like, I really don't want to deal with my lesson teacher as my actual band director. I only had the very begrudging respect of my junior high band director because I was a sassy little shit because I'd given up by then. I was like done. I was ready to yeet out of band right then and there. You know? And for some reason, that was something that he seemed to find amusing, something he enjoyed. Don't really get why, but like, go off, I guess. But like, I didn't want to go into band with him as my band director, because like, what an actual pain. What a pain. And so I was like, I'm gonna quit band. I'm also gonna quit choir because one of the high school choir directors was also horrific. This man was an ancient. He was a legend. We had joked that he fucking lived in the school's attic, was fucking born up in the upper part of the choir room where we stored all the show choir shit. Like, that man was a relic in himself before. He retired like, what, 2 years after I graduated? Like, holy cow. I just did not like that person. I did not like that man. And that man eventually would not like me, but that's not a story for today. But eventually news arose that my lesson teacher and future high school band director, was leaving. He was either quitting or got fired. I'm honestly to this day not certain exactly what happened, because he definitely had complaints that could have gotten him, you know, fired. So all I'm saying is it's a possibility. And I was like, my parents like, well, he's leaving. So will you at least, you know, give high school band a try? Will you just like not quite give up yet, you know? And I was like, I guess that's an acceptable request. We actually got a chance to meet one of the candidates for the position. She came in and worked with the junior high band on one of our songs, Mission Impossible. And she was really nice, you know, really enjoyed her and what she had to say and do with us. She was cool, you know? We all like vibed pretty well with her. And I was like, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if she was our director. And then finally the time came when it was announced who it was, and it just so happened to be that same director that came in to work with us. And so I was ecstatic, I was thrilled. She seemed super nice. I'd never had a female band director before, they've always been men. So I was like, hey, I like women, heck yeah.